Muy bien. Entonces, hoy es el martes 25 de febrero de 2025, ¿correcto? ¿Sí? Podemos decirlo en español. If this is correcto, could we say it en español at the count of three? Uno, dos, tres. De febrero de 2025. Now we said it. Now we're going to add fluency. I say it not too fast, but like linking all the words here. Hoy es el martes 25 de febrero de 2025. Uno, dos, tres, together. Hoy es el martes 25 de febrero de 2025. Entonces, esta clase es muy funcional. So we have a very functional class here. Lo primero fue que la puerta estaba cerrada. First thing was that the door was locked. So we learned, or I said to you, okay, let's take this teaching moment here. And we learn how to say the door is locked. That is our first little sentence that we are going to master. And with your input, we learn how to say the door, which is la puerta, la puerta. Puerta would be port, which is related, la puerta. And now is temporary. We want to say the door is locked. Okay. Oh, you're the best. You were not kidding when you said, oh, I'll be the best student tonight. La puerta está, and here, cerrada, cerrada. So far we're saying the door is closed. Okay. And then check it out. Con llave, llave, llave. Cerrada con llave. Cerrada con llave. So the door is locked with key. So locked. La puerta está cerrada con llave. At the count of three, could we all say it? Uno, dos, tres. And we're all saying the door is locked. How about the house is locked? Because this is what we're doing. We're learning patterns, and then we're recycling. And that's why we have our textbook with all kinds of vocabulary, right? So hit me with, now I'm going to put down here the other kind of vocabulary that you could use this with the same pattern, because that's essential for our class. So we want to say, oh my gosh, oh, the house is locked. Cerrada, muy bien. You see, you've said that expression twice. By the time you say it 4 or 5 times, you won't ever forget it. Okay? So, la puerta está cerrada. La casa está cerrada. Oh, devastation. The car. Honey, it's 20 below zero there. So yeah, go for it. The car is locked. El carro. El carro. What? El carro what? See? And now this is interesting. This is interesting. In the future, once you get into verb conjugation, okay, you are going to learn that cerrado or cerrada, when you say locked, is a past tense. But in this case, this past tense is describing an object. And we understand that when we describe an object, that part of the speech would be an adjective. An adjective would would agree in gender and noun with the main object in this case, right? If I were saying la casa is feminine, so the same as la puerta is feminine, right? You say la casa está cerrada, and you all said it, and that was so perfect. And Jorge had tears of joy, thinking, "Oh, my students got it." And then the second one is a masculine and singular object. The word closed in that case will have to agree in gender and number with the object. Therefore, what will you say for the car? El carro está what? You tell me. And here I made a mistake. I'm, guys, it took you what, like 4 seconds? I'm trying. Like if you're doing it faster. So we say la casa está cerrada, but el carro está cerrado. So as it could be as like a situation. You guys are like you're in Mexico there, and you're going to that bank. You need to go to that bank. You get there and the bank is locked. How we say that? El banco, correcto. Muy bien, muy bien. El banco está cerrado, and as you can see, oh yeah, I could use this expression. How many times have have we been in a situation in our traveling experiences that a place is being locked? We went to that office to get that passport stamped or something, and it was locked. So in this case, you're just saying it's closed. In that case, it's closed. But then if you want to really say that it's locked, cerrado con llave, con llave, con llave. Okay, la casa está cerrada, el carro está cerrado, el banco está cerrado. Oh, this one here when we're traveling. Do we know how to say the store? Oh, you're the best. Look at you now. Someone is jealous. It's like, I thought I was going to be the best for the whole evening here. A la tienda. Okay. So that is the beauty of your book. In your book, you have dozens of words that you'll be using. But in this case, we're building patterns, right?
What if you just wanted to say it's would you like that I just say esta cerrada?
That is closed. Beautiful. And now you know how to say it's locked. Okay, now situation. You are going to that office. Part of your party is over there, and you're there. And you're all running to get that because you know that it might be open. Okay, so you'll say, the store is closed. Yeah, and then but then you'll say, yeah, you see, the door is locked. You see, you're providing that extra piece of information because maybe those part of your family or your friends don't believe you. Oh, la puerta está cerrada. Okay, so you're absolutely right. You learn how to say closed, and you learn how to say locked. Okay, let's move on. Then here is your contribution. Give me. Repita. El barrio. What about it? El barrio está cerrado. And now you'll have to go home crying. Muy bien. El barrio está cerrado. Now, with what you were doing there, blinking, vocabulary from the nouns and adjectives. What do you come up with? Give me one.
La pelota, el blanco,
La pelota. Do you want to say the white ball?
Yeah.
But in that case, check it out. But check this out. Pelota is the main word. In English, you say the white ball, not in Spanish. In Spanish, we say the ball white, right? So you have those two. And white will have the same gender as the main word.
Yeah.
So la pelota, what? But you don't need to put anything in between. Muy bien, la pelota blanca. And then? Está. And you want to say flat? Outstanding. But check it out. Did you say plano? What are we talking about? That's the way it works. Okay. So anything dealing with the main word will have to acquire the gender of the main word.
Yeah.
And you saw it there, and that was brilliant. Eh? You said la because it's pelota. You said blanca because it's pelota, it's feminine. And now you are adding another description. Flat, plana. La pelota blanca está plana. So tell the people here that you're absolutely devastated. Go for it.
La pelota blanca está.
Don't laugh. Yes, then I know that then he won't do it ever again. Muy bien. May I have another contribution? That was outstanding, eh? And I really enjoyed that you took risks there because you added like a two description because it was not only white, but it was also flat. Okay, muy bien. Give me another one. El baño está limpio. El baño está limpio. Muy buena oración. And what we have to do, of course, we have to be realistic. This is a typical sentence that you would use when you're traveling. Now, unfortunately, most of the time would be negative, right? So first, let's make it negative. Excelente. And then el baño no está limpio. And then we are going to go with an opposite. Okay. The opposite of limpio is sucio. And look what I'm going to do for it. Like anytime I deal with the description, look what I'm doing. And you understand why. And this is dirty. Okay, el baño, no, you're in a situation there. It's like it's a hotel or wherever, and you're telling this to a person there. So let's say it's a lady, and highly recommended. Oops, where did it go? Señorita, excuse me, lady, the bathroom is dirty. Let's try that. Salud. Okay. And we'll attract her attention. Okay. So we'll say, perdón. Perdón, señorita, el baño está sucio. Perdón, señorita, el baño está sucio. Okay? Count to three. That's our target. Perdón, señorita, el cuarto está sucio. 1, 2, 3, go. Sucio, sucio, sucio. Beautiful. So what we have to remember here is, remember when we were analyzing the letter C? And the letter C has actually three sounds, three possible sounds. Sound number one, which is the k, with a combination of ka, ko, ku, which is those three ones that you have in your handout, right? And they didn't include the other two because they are a different sound, right? The CE and the CI in Latin America would be that sound. Therefore, you say se, si. If you look at the word, si, si, sucio, sucio, sucio. El baño está sucio. And of course, if you were from Spain, how would you say that? Sucio, 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 sucio. Is he saying dirty things to you? Muy bien, muy bien. Is there any other contribution? That would, oh, so far you guys are contributing so much. I love it.
La ciudad, pequeña, es hermosa.
La ciudad. Oopsie. Now, I'm going to stop right there.
Oh,
In your book, the word or yeah, all the words ending in dad in your textbook, they are telling you that all those words are feminine. So whenever you have the ending dad, that is a feminine word. Therefore, if I want to say the small city, perfecto, perfecto. And the other thing, for pronunciation purposes, we analyzed that the letter C has three sounds considering the distinctive sound in Spain. We have ka, ko, ku, we have se, si, and we have se, fi. Now, if I'm saying ka, ko, ku, how could I say in Spanish ka, ka, ko, ku? How could I say que? How could I say ki?
oh,
Right here. This is how you say que. Q-U-E. You don't pronounce the U. So you in that case, that would turn into que. Ka, ko, ku, que, ki. Therefore, if I want to say this, the small city, it would be la ciudad pequeña, with that ña sound for the ñ, la ciudad pequeña, la ciudad pequeña. Count of three, we're all on. Uno, dos, tres. And then go for it.
hermosa.
Es hermosa. La ciudad pequeña es hermosa. And I have to say that he's ahead of the game. And it's making it challenging for you guys because he contributed with not only one, but two sentences. And those were sentences with two different descriptions. Pardon me.
So am I supposed to put a K then?
Exactly like that.
Okay.
Because this comes from this word. Fuck.
Okay.
It comes from this word here. Actually, I'm going to I'm going to challenge you all. You're all familiar with this word here. Poco. Right? You've heard the word poco, right? What is poco? What's that? What's that? What's that? Un poco. And I'll put here un poco. What's that? Un poco.
Small, little.
A little. A little. Okay, a little. But now, what if I wanted to make it even smaller? Have you ever heard something like that? You are on the right track. It's poquito. Remember that we learned that in order to make something like a small, like a word to make it small, you add ito or ita. But in this case, check it out. Check it out. Poco is masculine. Okay, so I'm going to add what Jorge was saying. So this is poco, is masculine. I'm going to get rid of that vowel. And it's masculine, so it's this. Boom. Done. What is the problem? Is that I changed the sound of the C by putting the I. Hallelujah, sister. It would be posito, but then you have to keep the K sound. And how are you going to do that? By replacing, you are absolutely right, by replacing that C with a QU. Poquito. Where did I put that? Poquito. Okay, so that concept, please always treasure it. Like I gave you that little formula of the letter C with kakoku, right? With that sound, and then CC, CECI, and then now we added, what if I wanted to say ki? QUE, QUI, right? That is very important because when we get into verb conjugation, we have to replace or we have to get rid of the endings and then adding other vowels. If you have verbs ending in C, then they will undergo the same kind of situation, spelling differences. Could we have one more and then we'll move on? One more contribution. Go for it. That's such a wonderful one. Las tiendas no son caras. Caras. How about that? And since we're always learning new stuff, let's learn the opposite.
I forget again why sometimes it's just NO and sometimes it's NO.
For what?
For the negative,
So NO. So for the negative, it's always NO. Never. Never, 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 never. So that's why I'm saying, for the negative, it's much easier than English because you only have to remember to put the word no as soon as you know the conjugation of the verb. Okay. What I mean by that is that, for example, we learn how to say is, which is es. We learn how to say is as temporary or location, which is está. Okay. Then we're going to learn the whole family. You're going to learn how to say I am, you are, he, she is, they are, we are, etc., etc. So once you do that, I want to make it negative. Simple. Just put no before the verb. Okay. Now, the opposite of expensive, you need to know these words. Oh, by the way, the word cara or caras, if it's a different part of the speech, because in this case, when you say, oh, the stores, the would be the article, tiendas would be the noun, the thing, then son would be the verb, and then after the verb here, whenever you have a description, a descriptive word, is an adjective. I'm saying all that because the word caras could mean something else if that was a noun, not an adjective. For example, cara, face. Mi cara, my face. What if I play with words? Mi cara es cara. You have to pay big bucks if you want to have my face on that magazine. But isn't it interesting when we do this? I hope it's helping you when I go like visually. In this case, this is what I would be learning. Very simple pattern. So our pattern is being subject. So who's performing the action? The action is being a verb, and then is being an object. Okay. So the object could be anything, could be a word, could be a phrase, or some verbs don't have an object. Okay. So if we put our sentences in that pattern, okay. So for example, las tiendas is performing the action. So it would go here. Okay. And then this would be the action, the verb. And in this case, the verb is negative. Oopsie, I don't want to do that. Just want, no, it won't. So, las tiendas, that would be the verb. And then, of course, caras would be the objects. Okay, so the stores are not expensive. Okay, but then in my sentence, I said, mi cara. Now, mi cara is the subject. My face is going to perform the action. So I'm going to say, mi cara. I'm playing with words. Mi cara es cara. And it's not temporary because it's been expensive since I was born. Mi cara es cara. Okay, muy bien. I love your sentences. Okay, so we are going to continue with the same premise. We have we are building sentences with a subject, with a verb, and then with an object. And then I want to enhance that with more vocabulary. Okay, so let's move on to stuff that will give us more communication. So we did all this, how to stress a word, and we do understand that a word with written accents, then the emphasis, you know, where it would go. Okay, and we went with greetings, and oh, we were practicing this. We were practicing how to ask for people's names, right? And we were talking about formal and informal. Okay, so let's practice that again. Ask a person, hey, what's your name? Uno, dos, tres. Make it formal. Muy bien. And we'll just polish the llama. ¿Cómo se llama usted? Go with that again.
¿Cómo se llama usted?
Beautiful. Let's polish usted. Perfect. Let's all do it at the count of three in a formal way. Hey, what's your name? Uno, dos, tres. ¿Cómo se llama usted? Now let's be casual. ¿Cómo te llamas tú? Uno, dos, tres. Beautiful. And now we're going to ask, hey, what's her name? ¿Cómo se llama ella? Uno, dos, tres. Good. And now we're going to add one more for, hey, what is his name? With this pattern, how will you ask, what's his name? Excelente. And now I'm going to challenge you a little bit here. ¿Cómo se llama él? What if I wanted to ask, hey, what's your friend's name? What's your friend's name? But follow the pattern that we have here. So we want to say, hey, what's your friend's name? Okay, so ¿cómo se llama él? And now same idea. Yes.
Can llama be male or masculine?
In that case, you don't touch the verb because it's a verb. So it's an action. So you don't need to agree in gender with being male or female. No. And we'll learn that as soon as we start analyzing this expression llamarse, which is to call oneself. Okay. So in this case, I want to say, hey, what's your friend's name? So in this case would be, ¿cómo se llama your friend? Oh, bingo. ¿Cómo se llama tu amigo? ¿Cómo se llama tu amigo o tu amiga for that matter? What's your mom's name? Correcto. ¿Cómo se llama tu mamá? What's your sister's name? Hermana. And that's exactly what you want to do. So in your vocabulary, in your textbook, you'll find all that vocabulary. You'll find a cousin, uncle, mother-in-law, father-in-law, etc. All that vocabulary, you'll find it in those units. Okay. Then let's continue here. Let's move on. And actually, we were talking about elemento de una oración. We touched on that. We were practicing vocabulary. You have some vocabulary already in your pocket. And now, you're familiar with definite articles. You're familiar with el, la, los, las, right? Now, and that is, it's called definite because you know the object you're talking about. Now, these are indefinite. You don't know what the object you're talking about. So in this case, what if I wanted to say, what do we have here? Oh, this was the other teaching moment. Remember when you were so generous with the bubble gum, and I don't know where I put it. And oh, right here. Okay. And you learn how to say, do you want? Who remembers that? Okay. Correcto. Okay. Okay. So for now, all that vocabulary, for example, when we're learning verbs in this case, we're going to just learn what we are saying at that moment. But in a different class, we are going to tackle the whole thing. I want, you want, she wants, we want, etc., etc. But we are not there yet. But we learn the question. Oh, where did it go? This computer is haunted. Then ¿quieres? ¿Quieres? And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put in bracket tú. Of course. As soon as I go with ¿quieres tú? But then let's just say ¿quieres? 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 So in the vocabulary that you were looking at there, go with stuff that's you're offering. ¿Quieres? But in this case, we're going to go with indefinite. So we were practicing el, la, los, las. But now we are going to practice un or una or unos, unas. Okay, offer something.
¿Quieres una cerveza?
¿Quieres una cerveza? ¿Quieres una cerveza? That's a good start. And you're not saying it, but it's there. Because once we start conjugating the verb, same as in French, I guess, it's implicit. It's understood because of the ending of the verb. The verb in this case is already conjugated. Okay, and then I continue the conjugation by saying I want. Okay, go for it. Quiero, and this is what I'm going to do.
But now you're insane.
Yo quiero. And once we get once again into verb conjugation, it's a very common thing to drop the yo. Because by applying that o at the end, there's only one combination that would have that o, which is yo. So that's why we would drop it. ¿Quieres una cerveza? Por supuesto que, por supuesto que. Okay, so that expression would go with que. Of course that I want. Okay, por supuesto que quiero. Por supuesto que quiero. This is survival Spanish. Okay.
Or you could say por favor too, right?
Oh, sí. These are all options. And this is the beauty of adding other expressions because then you won't be, like a robot using the same expression over and over again. So, sí, por favor, is excelente. Sí, por favor. Or here you have another one. Por supuesto que yo quiero. Of course I want a beer. Okay. Por supuesto que yo quiero. Okay. And the key and this is of course in English we wouldn't normally say it, but it's implicit. Of course I want a beer. Of course that I want a beer. But this is a piece of advice. If you're using an expression that would carry the connecting word that, but we don't say it, but it's implicit there in Spanish. In Spanish, you must translate it. For example, when you say, for example, oh, I think I know the place. I think that I know the place. I think you are very kind. I think that you are very. It's implicit. We don't say it, but in Spanish we must say it. Yo pienso que eres muy agradable. Yo pienso que es muy bonito. Yo pienso que. I think that. Okay. And this is a very, very common word as a connecting word, the word que, when it's not a question. Because when it's a question, that means what? Are you with me there? So as a connecting word, that would mean that. Okay. Let's move on here. So there you have by practicing those indefinite articles. Okay. What if you were asking, do you want a ticket? You have it there. So it's in that neighborhood. Sorry, I cannot make, well, I could make all this bigger, I guess. There. Okay. So we want to say, do you want a ticket? And ¿quieres un tiquete? And you have the QUE again. Un tiquete. ¿Quieres un tiquete? Let's practice it at the count of three. Uno, dos, which is this one right here. ¿Quieres un tiquete? Uno, dos, tres, go. Perfecto. And by the way, we are on page 6. Then this page, what page number is this? 7? 7? Okay, perfect. So if sometimes we cannot see that very clearly, so we'll find the page and then we will know what we're doing here. Okay, ¿quieres un tiquete? ¿Quieres un tiquete? And then, no, this wouldn't be proper, going to Mexico and saying, ¿quieres una mujer? Like, could you imagine going to the street and someone says, ¿quieres una mujer? What's una mujer? A woman. Do you want a woman? Go for it. Oh, of course, un boleto, un boleto, un boleto, un boleto, and with the influence of English too, people will say un ticket. ¿Quieres un ticket? Okay. That is a very good question. By the way, this is all standard vocabulary. What you're learning is standard Spanish. But then there's local terminology. And the local terminology is you could get reference, but mainly you learn it your way. Okay. Now.
This phrase is for pesto.
Yeah.
Okay. We want to, that, of course, is. One of your sentences, I wanted to make it a negative. But now I can't. Thought.
So what if you wanted to make that expression negative? Yeah. So okay, beautiful.
Of course. Not wanting to.
Of course.
Like
Beautiful. So what you would do, right after que,
yeah,
you add no. So por supuesto que no, and that's definite,
okay.
And that's no, you don't negotiate that. Por supuesto que no.
You do that slowly. You say that slowly.
Yeah. Por supuesto, which is the expression that we were learning right there. Por supuesto que no. And then we are going to apply por supuesto que no. Count of three. Uno, dos, tres.
Okay, no.
And now we're going to make it emphatic, but positive. Por supuesto que sí. Por supuesto que sí. Same thing,
Okay.
but then que sí. Like,
See it, okay.
sí as in yes.
Oh, like that, yeah.
And I put it as the two options. I put it here, the two options. Por supuesto, but I put it in bracket here because and actually I'm going to put the whole thing in bracket even from here because what if the offer was that? ¿Quieres una cerveza? Sí, por supuesto. You could put the sí here in front. Sí, por supuesto. Okay, and then the emphatic, of course not. Emphatic not, it would be por supuesto que no. Por supuesto que no. And emphatic, of course. Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Por supuesto que sí. Por supuesto que sí. Por supuesto que no. Beautiful. Por supuesto que sí. Por supuesto que no. Let's practice. Let's practice. ¿Quieres una cerveza? Positive. Excelente. ¿Quieres una cucaracha? Of course not. Unless you want una cucaracha.
Okay, no.
Exacto, por supuesto que no. And that goes with that body language. Por supuesto que no. Por supuesto que no. Muy bien, muy bien, muy bien. So anytime you have a question, please interrupt me. Now, singular indefinite articles. We were practicing all that vocabulary, and let's move on there. So we are going to the next page, plural indefinite articles. Y unas casas. Okay. I want some flowers. Correcto, correcto, which is the bottom one, right there. Okay, so what we are doing with the same pattern, we're just practicing the new vocabulary that you have there. Okay, and how will you ask? Oh, would you like some cats? I wonder if it's locked. I don't know.
Unos gatos.
¿Quieres unos gatos? And you love cats. Of course I want some cats. Por supuesto. Was it locked? But you know what happened? You know what happened? You didn't say, La puerta está cerrada con llave. You didn't say that. So that's why we didn't react.
Gee.
La puerta está cerrada con llave. Muy bien. Let's move on. Go for it.
I think I actually get the pronunciation of the I want. That's just the quieres, the Q-U-I-E-R-E-S, that means I want.
The quieres is do you want? Okay, and actually, you know what I'll do here? I'm going to go a little bit ahead of our stuff, but hey, exactly. So, although it's in a different unit, but hey, let's tackle that. This is what we've been doing. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Okay, here we go. First, with any actions or any verbs, we need to get really familiar with who is performing the action first. Okay, so we're going to go with the so-called los pronombres. Los pronombres. Los pronombres. And in this case would be pronombres sujeto. Okay, so we're dealing with subject pronouns. Okay, these are performing the action. What we have to do, we have to learn how to say, you already know it, but hey, it's taking it from the beginning. So we want to say I. So you would say, okay, you would say yo. And then you want to say you. And I'll just put there informal. Do we know how to say you informal? Correct. So you informal will be two, and you were all right on. Two. And look at that very important detail. Two with an accent. If you don't, in written form, if it doesn't have an accent, that would mean your. If you want to say you, is two with an accent. With no accent means your. Okay, when you say, what is your name? ¿Cuál es tu nombre? That tu, your name, does not have an accent. This one does. Okay, so that would be two. And then we'll go with you, formal. Okay, do we know how to say you formal? Correct. Usted. And do we know how to say she? Oh, you're ahead of the game. Now you're ahead of the game. And some people are looking at you like, how dare you? Ella. Do we know how to say he? Correcto. So that would, and check it out. Oh, not there. This computer doesn't like me. There you go. Very important. Accent. What if it didn't have an accent? Gracias. That would mean the. When you say el niño, el chico, el hombre. Okay. In written form, el with an accent means he. Okay. And look what I'm going to do here. In subject position, this is all subject, this is all performing the action. The word it does not have a translation as subject. For example, when I say it is good, when I say it has 4 rooms, oh, it smells good. That it in subject position, because it's performing the action, it has, it is, don't put anything. You just conjugate that as if that was he or she. The conjugation would be like he or she, but the word it in subject position, I'm emphatic about subject position because in object position, it has words. It has a translation, okay? But in this case, I'm going to leave it blank. Then, do we know how to say we? Oh, excelente. You know your stuff very well. Nosotros or nosotras. Nosotros or nosotras. Then, this one here is salud. You all You all, but in Spain. Vosotros. Or vosotras. Then we want to say you all. And I'll just put here Latin America. Okay. The one in Latin America would be ustedes. Wrong space. In Latin America would be ustedes. Ustedes. And what if I wanted to say they? That would be what? Ellos or ellas. Okay. Now, why do we need to know all that stuff? Because now we are going to start conjugating verbs. Okay. There are three groups of verbs. Verbs ending in AR, verbs ending in ER, and verbs ending in IR, but in their base form. You know what in English you say to speak, to run, to learn? That is non-conjugated. But then you conjugate it when you apply that, when you say, I run, she runs, right? And you notice what you did there. You got rid of that to. You didn't say I to run, she to run. On the same token, for example, here we're going to go with verb hablar. And hablar is what? To speak. Okay. To speak. And it's very important at this stage to relate this AR with the English, in this case, to. They would have the same function that they are non-conjugated, that AR and the to. And the same way you did it with the to speak, that you got rid of the end of the to. In Spanish, you're going to get rid of the AR, and you're going to use only the stem of the verb. The stem is what is left after you take out the AR. So what would be the stem of hablar? That's the stem. Okay. So I'll put the stem in all these combinations. And then we're going to add verb endings. And then you'll see how versatile you'll become, because then you're not going to talk like Tarzan anymore. You're not going to say, I to eat food. No, you'll say, I eat food. Okay? So after you've done all that, then you apply verb endings. For AR verbs, the verb endings would be as follows. For yo, the ending is o. So now, how will you say I speak? Yo hablo. And for tú would be as. How will you say you speak formal? Tú hablas. And the four amigos here will share the same ending. Usted habla. How come it's not doing it? Habla. 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 Perfect. Okay. So far, I'll give you the subject pronoun, and you give me the conjugated form of the verb. Yo hablo, tú. And one thing, remember when we were talking about the emphasis of a word. So the emphasis, if a word ends in a vowel, N or S, the emphasis is not on the last syllable. The emphasis is on the second last syllable. So the emphasis would go here. Okay, so we'll try again, and rather than say, yo hablo, tú hablas, we'll say yo hablo, tú hablas, usted habla, ella habla, él habla, habla. Could you give me all that? Uno, dos, tres, go. Hablas, habla, 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 habla. And then for nosotros is this one here. Amos, hablamos, hablamos. Could you all say that? Uno, dos, tres.
Vamos.
Perfecto. For Spain, you'll need this. Habláis, habláis, habláis. For you all in Latin America, hablan, hablan. And finally, to say they speak, it would be ellos hablan, ellos hablan. Okay? Now, this is the beauty of verb conjugation. You already know how to say she speaks. How do you say she speaks? Perfecto. Ella habla. Now, look what I'm going to give you here. Viajar. Viajar is an AR verb. Viajar. Would you know how to say? And now, remember what I did in terms of identifying the stem of the verb that I'm going to use to conjugate the verb? So I get rid of the AR. So what would be the stem? Viaj. Right? So how do you say I travel? Yo viajo. How do you say she travels? Correcto, right here. Ella viaja. There, you get that? Now, impress me here. I don't travel, but she travels. Exacto. Yo no viajo, ella viaja. Ella viaja. Do you guys remember how to say but? Pero. Let's try it again. I don't travel, but she travels. Viaja. Viaja. Now, I'll give you another one here. Necesitar. You see how this is working in terms of, okay, I have to first determine what is the stem of the verb. Once you have that, then you apply the endings that you already learned. So all these guys here is what you're going to start using with any AR verb. These are your endings, depending on who is performing the action. So in this case, we learned all those subject pronouns, which are the ones performing the action. So impress me here. I need. That was correcto. Yo necesito es muy bueno, muy bueno. How do you say she needs? Ella necesita. Okay. And here, and this is going to make so much sense now. Remember this verb here? Llamar. What is llamar? To call. How do we say I call? Louder. Llamo. How do you say my name is as expression? Me llamo. Beautiful. How would you ask, what is your name? Familiar. Louder. And this is what you did. ¿Cómo te llamas? You see how that is making sense? And what if I want to say, oh, what is your mother's name? ¿Cómo se? ¿Cómo se llama? And then your mom. Beautiful. Now say, ¿cómo se llama tu mamá? Ask. And then, mi mamá se llama. Mi mamá se llama. Beautiful. Now, you're asking, hey, what are your names, you guys? Oh, you all, right there. ¿Cómo se? Muy bien, ¿cómo se llaman? And now add the you all in Latin America. Señor, muy bien, ¿cómo se llaman ustedes? But now, what if you wanted to ask, hey, what are their names? So in this case, we have to go to they. Ellos, se, but it's different verb.
Oh, wait,
Llaman. That's right. Now you're saying their names. Ellos se llaman blah, blah, and blah. You see how this is working in terms of verb conjugation? Now, here, I'm going to go a little bit ahead of the game, more even, because I'm going to put here an ER verb that we were using today, which is querer. Querer is to want, but also to love. You know why? Because these Latinos, they have these different words for different occasions of loving. You have to learn this. So, but for now, we'll just use it as to want. What was the first one that we learned tonight? To say, I want. Yo quiero. Yo quiero. There you go. Say it again. Yo quiero. Yo quiero. Perfect. Yo quiero. And then the second one would be tú quieres. Tú quieres. And this is the other one we were practicing. Yo quiero. Tú quieres. And now the three amigos. Usted quiere. Usted quiere. And now that is bonus. Because knowing one of them, you'll know how to conjugate the rest. Okay? So how we say she wants? Quiere, because we are in the ER business. The other one was the AR endings. These are ER endings. So different group of verbs. Perfect. Would you know how to say he wants? Oh, you're ahead of the game. Now you're ahead of the game. How we say it wants? Quiere. How we say my friend wants? My friend wants. In other words, he wants. That's right. So back up. Mi amigo.
Yeah.
My daughter wants. Mi hija. There you go. Because now all of a sudden it's, yeah, I know how to say she wants. I know how to say he wants. So that then any other subjects that would be fitting into he or she, you know that the conjugation is the same, right? So in this case, what if I want to say we want? Check it out. Nosotros queremos oh, I put it in the wrong place. Nosotros queremos. And I said we are a little bit way ahead of the game because this is so-called stem changing verb. Because if you notice, the stem changed from quiere, all of a sudden for nosotros, que, queremos. And same thing for vosotros, queréis, queréis. Vosotros queréis. Vosotros queréis. Queréis. And now, back to the stem change that we were using before. It would be ustedes quieren. Exacto. And these two amigos will have the same conjugation. What if I want to say they want? Ellos quieren. Okay, let's practice that a little bit this way. You are in a restaurant, okay? And you'll order something for you and something different for them and something different for them. They are relying on your tastes. If they are not satisfied, you'll have to pay the bill.
Well, that was disgusting.
Okay, you start with I want and she's like a dish.
Yo quiero pizza.
Yo quiero pizza. They want.
Ellos quieren.
Muy bien. Muy bien. And they want. And in this case, it's female. So,
Oh, okay.
see?
Yeah.
That will work. That will work. You see how this is working in terms of verb conjugation? So this is just a little taste on what I will be doing. Okay, and let's switch rapidly, like I will, to this. We already know how to say he is. We know how to say he, and we know how to say is. How will you say that? Él es, right? Él es, but for description, No, but description when you're saying, oh, he's my friend, he's the uncle of. So that is more factual rather than temporary. Okay, now we need so it would be él. So that would be él es. Okay. Now another verb that we'll need for the next activity is he has. How do we say he? And now to say he has, él tiene. Él tiene. Okay. He has, he is, él es, and now another one would be what if I put here another AR verb like this. Trabajar. Do we know what trabajar is? Right? Work. How do we say he works? So you were super efficient. You were super efficient determining the stem. The stem is trabaja, right? And then you added the a. El trabaja. Trabaja. Excelente, excelente. Now, how do you say I work? Yo trabajo. Yo trabajo, él trabaja, yo trabajo. Okay? Now, let's do this. Um, El cuarto misterioso, episodio 1. Okay, we're going to start very mild, right here.
Students to do the best work with Grammarly's comprehensive AI writing assistance.
Okay, so this is what we started last class. Okay, could we repeat that, please?
Yes.
Es la Ciudad de México.
What was that? You're describing, right? So that's why you're saying is. Es. You're saying, la capital es la Ciudad de México. La capital es la Ciudad de México. We're fine so far? And now,
La Ciudad de México tiene 20 millones de habitantes.
okay, we learn how to say has, which is tiene. Okay, could you say 20? 20 would be 20. 20. 20. Now, how will you say 20 million? Beautiful. And then of inhabitants, literally, or people. So could we say 20 millones de habitantes? Okay, so far you know how to say 20 million people or 20 million of inhabitants. Now, could you please give me in Spanish, the city of Mexico has 20 million people. At the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
México tiene 20 millones de habitantes.
Okay, now you have to retain all this because now it's going to be the painful part of it. Oh, could you say Coyoacán? Coyoacán. Once again. So Coyoacán literally will say is part of the city of Mexico. That's where it's coming. But for now, we're saying here is, and now it's location. So we're switching from la capital de México es la Ciudad de México. You're describing. Now you're talking about location. You're saying Coyoacán is here. And then they are going to say that is location. And then they will say, they will describe, they will say Coyoacán is part of the city of Mexico. Okay. Now, part in Spanish, we say parte. Parte. It's almost the same word, but then we add the E. Parte. Could you say that? Okay, now impress me. Coyoacán is part of the city of Mexico. That's what we call Spanglish. Outstanding. Say it again.
I don't know how what I said the first time.
Coyoacán. Parte de la ciudad de México. As part of your endings for feminine words is the ending dad. Dad. So that's why when you say city, you say ciudad. So if you want to say the city, you say la ciudad. And when you want to say of, de. So we'll put it together. Coyoacán es parte de la ciudad de México. Okay. Check. Yeah, it's like a district. Okay, but check it out. Look what you did, your production. How about that? You were ahead of the game here. Did you say it again? De Mexico. Now, what we want to do, we want to be very, very effective communicators here. We are retaining information and you know how to say it. How will you say it? The city of Mexico is the capital of Mexico. Muy bien. Sí. And I'll give you this. Oh, look at that. Es la capital de México. Now, the city of Mexico has 20 million people. Ne 20 millones de habitantes. Beautiful. And one more. Coyoacán is part of the city of Mexico. You can cheat. Coyoacán is part of the city of Mexico. Okay, beautiful. Now, as I said, part of your training is that you're building little patterns, subject, verb, object, okay? And then you have to feel comfortable providing that information in Spanish now. So you have like 3 or 4 pieces of information prior to the story. The city of Mexico has 20 million people. The capital of Mexico is the city of Mexico, and Coyoacán is part of the city of Mexico so far. And all that you can say. So next class, try to retain as much, because then we want to get into communication. Okay, let's see what's next. Can you imagine 20 million people in one city? What is aquí?
Here.
Here. What is vive José? Lives José. Con su tío? With his uncle. El señor Juárez. So we have two characters. José and el señor Juárez. Okay?
Episodio.
Now, él es José, ¿correcto? Sí. And José has an uncle, ¿correcto? We learn how to say José has. Un tío. Okay, could you say that again? Uno, dos, tres. Un tío. Could we go back now in our minds where we said his name is, but with él se llama. Do you picture that? Él se llama. Can we say that at the count of three? Uno, tres. Excelente. Go back. Go back. José has an uncle. His name is el señor Juárez. O Don Pedro. Okay, let's go with Don Pedro. Okay, give me that. Él se llama. Remember, in that case, we are conjugating the verb. So it's se llama for his name, her name. Is all se llama. Él se llama Don Pedro. Él se llama Don Pedro. Now, another piece of information. José lives with his uncle in Coyoacán. Vive con su tío, Don Pedro, in Coyoacán. Yeah, let's say Coyoacán. And then you'll impress your friends there. And Coyoacán is part of the city of Mexico. No, we are not going to impress them. Let's move on. In a very near future, by doing this and by continuing with verb conjugation and all that. By the way, for next class, we'll be moving a little bit faster this way. For next class, yes, as you can see, yes, it's really good to learn a lot of vocabulary, but the vocabulary, you have it here. So we're going to be a little bit ambitious. So what we'll do, I want you to get the work with verb to be, as we were discussing, the two verb to be, ser and estar. Do as much as you can there, and then unit 5 is what we started today, because it's verb conjugation, regular verbs. Okay, so my recommendation, because the next class I'm going to just continue with verb conjugation in order for you to actually start communicating with people, start describing things, because you'll be describing episode 1, and we'll see if we could watch episode 2, where you'll be saying, oh, the uncle enters the room. He walks towards Jose, and Jose works on a project of the history of Mexico. And then Francisco calls Jose, etc., etc. That is our target, because then you're going to transfer all that to your situations when you're using the language. for your traveling experiences or talking to local people, but in Spanish. Okay, so as I said, for next class, and I hope you don't mind me going that way, because then we'll be using everything that is inside, because it's only 6 sessions. So you'll be using numbers and days of the day, days of the week, etc. But you need actions, you need verbs. Okay, perfect. So, and
Sí. Hola, tío. ¿Cómo estás? Bien.
you see, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? Of course, that is, how are you? Temporary. Because the uncle will say, oh, I'm fine, or I'm not too well. That is all temporary. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? Could we all say that? Hola, ¿cómo estás? And then here they are not using a complete sentence, but this is a typical thing, same as in English. Hey, how are you? Fine, are you? Like in Spanish, same thing. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Bien, ¿y tú? Well, and you? Okay, could we try? Ask the question. Hey, how are you? Now, I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Bien.
Muy bien. Bien, ¿y tú? Perfecto.
Bien, tío.
Now, with our training next week, we're going to learn how to say, for example, to ask, to answer. Okay, but I'll give you a little preview here. Let's go back mentally with the verb hablar. Let's picture those endings. Yo hablo. Tú hablas. The 3 amigos, usted, ella, él, habla. So already we have hablo, hablas, habla. What if I gave you the word or the verb preguntar? Preguntar is an AR verb. Preguntar. Let's get rid of that AR. How will you ask? I ask. Louder. Pregunto, yo pregunto. How will you say, he asks? Él pregunta. Now let's make it, the uncle asks. El tío pregunta. The uncle asks, what book is this? The whole thing. You have the rest in front of you. Beautiful. But back up. That the uncle asks, what book is this? But ask the question. Ask the question. The uncle asks, what book is this? Muy bien, el tío pregunta. Muy bien, el tío pregunta qué libro es este. And then we'll learn how to say responder. And this is just a little preview. Remember when you when you learn how to say yo quiero, tú quieres, usted, ella quiere. Okay, so responder is an ER verb as well, the same as querer. So how will you say the uncle or Jose answers? The verb is responder. So Jose responde. Quiere. Responde. Are you with me there? Okay, now we're going to finish with that. The uncle asks, what book is this? And Jose answers, is a book of the history of Mexico. Okay? back up. The uncle asks. The verb is preguntar. El tío pregunta. And Jose answers. To answer is responder, but is with that E ending. Correcto. Jose responde is a book of history. Es un libro de historia. You see what you're doing? So by having those patterns, by knowing how to conjugate verbs, by following a story, so you're communicating. Because then what we want to do, we want to use that in your situations, because then you're not going to talk about Jose, you're not going to talk about the uncle, but you'll be able to use those patterns. Okay, so my recommendation is that let's tackle verbs for next class. For next class is on a Tuesday. Okay, so next class, you tackle verb ser and estar, the two verbs to be, and then the regular verbs. Okay, and what I'll do, I'm going to send you together with this video, whatever we got tonight. I'm going to send you a PowerPoint that I use to teach AR, ER, and IR verbs. And I'm going to use that in our class, but you'll have it prior to the class. Sounds good? Muchas gracias. Well done. And I know it's exhausting because you have to work your brain overtime. I know that because it's way too much information, but I think it'll be very worthwhile to be able to now actually talk about actions and going back and forth. You don't want to say to eat, to drink. No, you want to say I eat, she eats, we eat, etc., and then apply it the way you were doing it now with the story. Sounds good? Muchas gracias. Gracias.